Hey everybody, this is Nori from Smart Service, and today we're going to be taking a look at what's coming out in version 104. Let's see what we got. One of the first big things I want to take a look at here is going to be the new pricing restructuring we've done for both your customers and your service techs. So these options are going to be located in the settings menu, which means that they are universal options. All field techs will be controlled by the same pricing rules, and all customers will be controlled by the same pricing rules. So let's go ahead and take a look at what those new features are going to be and what you can do with these options. So our first thing here is we're going to take a look at Smart Services settings on the menu on the left. And we're going to head under the work order tab. Now I do want to remind everybody that these preferences I'm going to be showing you here are for both estimates on their own tab and the work orders, but the feature is similar on both tabs. You can customize it for each. But let's go ahead and take a look at work order here, and you'll see the top right hand section of this list has changed quite a bit. So you now have split preferences for both employees and customers, which means you can control these individually. So for your employee preferences, the first option we have is an option for pricing. This means will your technicians see itemized pricing, as in they should see item A, a price, item B, a price, and then a total. Should they see a lump sum pricing, which would just be item A, item B, and then the total for the whole job? Or would you like to hide all pricing from them? This will affect the iFleet app. It will not affect the customer's work order that they would receive via email or the one that would be sent back to the office. Now, below that choice here, you also have a box that will let you choose quantity. So if you want your technicians to be able to modify the quantities or see the quantities, we can go ahead and check this box. If you do not want them doing that, go ahead and uncheck this box. And then to the right of that, you also have the same preferences for customers. Now this does directly control the work order that is created by iFleet, the default work order. It won't change any custom forms that you have, but you can set your own preferences for the customers there. Now, like I said, these features are exactly the same for the estimates. You can always come over here, make those choices separately, just because those are separate documents. The last thing I wanted to note on this feature in particular here though, if your technicians are collecting payment in the field using our payment options or some other method, if you choose the no pricing option from this drop down here, this will remove the payment option from them. So they won't see that payment button if they're set to no pricing, because how are they going to collect payment if they don't know the price, right? The other interesting thing that we've added in here is going to be over on the iFleet tab. We now have options for hide cost on job line items and hide cost on proposal line items, or estimates, whatever you call yours. The cost is different from your rate and amount, of course. The cost is how much your company pays for a particular product or service. So if you'd like to hide that information from your techs on either the work orders or the proposals, you now have the option to do that separately. Of course, the customer will never see your cost. This is purely an internal decision. Alright folks, so the other really neat thing that we've gotten in this new version for you here is the ability to attach photos and documents to your equipment records. Now, this is a feature that does require Dropbox. We put a link in the video description if you haven't set up Dropbox yet, or you can give us a call and we'll help you. But what this will allow you to do is, both in the office and the field, you guys will be able to see photos of the equipment through the equipment record, or let's say a manual or something else important you might want to store. Let's go ahead and take a look at what that's going to look like in Smart Service first, and then we'll transition over to iFleet. So if I open up one of our customers and take a look at their equipment tab, I have my piece of equipment, something that anyone using equipment already is probably pretty familiar with. But what you might notice in this new version here is over on the right hand side we have a new tab called Attachments. Inside of Attachments we can see any photos or any documents we've decided to attach to this equipment. Now of course I'm free to create new ones here by hitting the Add Attachment button, and that'll let me just pick something from my computer, or I could open up some of the attachments that I have and it'll display that picture for me. So keep in mind, it'll do that with pictures and with any documentation that you might have. Alright, and then to finish off this feature here, we're going to go ahead and take a trip into iFleet and see how that part's going to work out, since these features will be available there as well. If we open up a job for that same customer we were looking at in Smart Service, and I have Dropbox set up on my device, if I scroll down the left hand side to the equipment section, I'm going to notice a new feature in here. I have a paperclip symbol right under the arrow for the directions to the equipment. that paperclip will appear if you have any photos or attachments for that equipment. Now if I go ahead and tap on that there, it's going to open up an option to select one of those files, and of course I'm free to tap on those files to open them up so I can take a look at whatever photo or whatever documentation we've attached for the equipment. And if you're wondering how we get photos attached to that equipment from the field, well, from now on, when you go in to take a photo in iFleet, you'll be given an option at the top of the page to choose what equipment you'd like to associate that photo with. So mine currently says no associated equipment. If I go ahead and tap on that option, it'll give me a drop down where I can select whatever I would like. Then we got another exciting feature for the office here. Have you ever been going to enter a job and you're looking for a specific customer and you can't find them? Well, we've got a solution for that now. When we go in to create a new job, so let me go ahead and highlight a space here. We'll right click and we'll go ahead and click that new job button. When you go to look for a customer, if you can't find them, maybe this is a new customer, maybe you thought they were in there before, you now have the option in the search field to click add new customer. And instead of you going back out, right click again to create a new customer, we saved you a couple button presses here. When you hit this option here, it'll give you the ability to put in a new customer's name and go ahead and start brand new with that customer. Alright, so the last thing I got to show you today here is what we've done to change the purchase order function that's available within Smart Service. For those of you who haven't used them yet, there is the option to create a purchase order, which will be directly created in QuickBooks as well. That can be done both from iFleet and from the office. Now, for those of you who have been using the purchase orders feature, we have moved it a little bit here. The reason why we've moved this feature is, one, whenever you load up the job item screen, let's say, you notice it would take a couple extra seconds if you had a purchase order. Well, by moving it into a different screen here, we're now taking a little bit less time to open up that job item screen. Let's go ahead and take a look at where we place this new button here and what advantages that's going to bring us. Alright, so let's open up Smart Service here, take a look at one of these jobs, and go into the Job Items tab. Now, for those of you who are using those purchase order features, usually that purchase order section will be located down here at the bottom of your screen, right? Well, we've actually moved that into a little button here at the top. Now, like I said, the big reason of why we did that is to save time when you get in the program. It doesn't have to do that purchase order check because you're not actually opening up the purchase order screen. It will still post those purchase orders over to QuickBooks if you post the invoice or if you go ahead and click on this button. But those same great purchase order features are now available in here. So if I click on that option, it'll show that same window with the familiar options, and you can do as you like with your purchase orders. So if you're new to purchase orders, we've included a link in the video description so you can take a look at those features too. Alright everybody, so that'll wrap up our version 104 updates. If you'd like to learn more about this update, go ahead and visit us at smartservice.com/updates for more information, where you can also download a copy of the update. We'll see you next time.